Is this handmade audio interface that you literally cannot buy unless you know the right person the next big thing in at-home and on-the-road professional voiceover recording? Today, we're putting it to the test. Giddy up. What's up, full-timers? My name is John Lano, and I've been a full-time voice talent since 2012. This channel is all about helping aspiring voice talent all the way up to fellow full-time working pros like me leverage their time and resources to build a thriving and successful and growing voiceover business. First, let's talk about the name of this little guy, the Audiosigma Podmobile Audio Interface. This little guy is not available in stores or online. You literally have to reach out to the audio engineer behind the Podmobile, Fernando Eid Pires, because he is making these one by one with his hands, like a true craftsman. So full disclosure, I have gotten to know Fernando over the past several months, and he's a great guy, but he is not paying me to do this review. He has not given me anything. There's no sort of editorial feedback that he's giving me. He has no say in what I'm gonna say today because he wanted an objective look at the Podmobile. And I was excited about it because he is someone who's starting this business from scratch, building these handmade, and I thought, you know what? Why not check it out and put it to the test? I'm gonna give you my opinions, which are obviously 100% right all the time. And then I also want you to give your opinion as well. I've actually put Fernando's contact information in the description below this video because I want to give you a chance to reach out to him to either, one, buy a Podmobile interface, again, no kickback from me, or if you have some feedback for him because he is constantly making this better. He is willing to adjust as the market sees fit. Don't be afraid to reach out to Fernando if you have any sort of questions, or again, if you want to buy this little guy. Is this good enough to record professional voiceover on? And will it replace my current audio interface? That's the question. Whoa. Before we get judgmental in here, all right, I want to give you a full overview of what the Podmobile looks like, how it's designed, how it's laid out, what kind of features it has, as well as just how to use the thing. So, to the demo lab. All right, so this is a top-down view of the Podmobile. So on top here, these are two XLR inputs. Below each of those microphone inputs sits the corresponding knob. You have a gain knob, which controls the volume or level of your microphone when you're recording. There's also a bass and a treble knob. The treble controls the mid to higher range to make it a little bit brighter. Bass is for just boosting that bass if you need a little bit more. Now, those are not knobs that you would use as voice actors. If you want the natural sound, these two knobs set at a 12 o'clock position. But if you're using the Podmobile for live streaming, you want to just beef up your sound, then adjusting these knobs themselves is a great way to do it. In the middle, there are two LED lights. What matters mostly is the 48 volt LED button, which tells you that you have 48 volt power to power up a condenser microphone, which is what we care about as professional voiceover talent. And below that, you'll see clip, which tells you if you are clipping your audio. So when you're recording and it's getting too loud and it cuts out, that will pop up. So below that, on the bottom left, you'll see the volume for the headphones. And on the XLR side of the Podmobile, you have your two XLR inputs, as well as two headphone slots for the corresponding headphones. So one right there and one right there. And on the bottom right is a knob to control whether your headphones hear only the audio coming from your system, also known as your phone or your computer or whatever device you're using with the Podmobile, or if you hear your voice while you're monitoring your recording. Leaving it at 12 o'clock means that they're equally mixed. So I personally don't monitor my voice when I'm recording, so I actually turn it all the way toward USB audio when I'm using my Podmobile. Here are the accessories that come with your Podmobile: the USB-C to USB 3.0 power cable, the 5 volt to USB 3.0 power cable, the USB-C to USB-C power cable, the lightning cable to USB 3.0 adapter to be able to use your Podmobile with your iPhone or iPad, and the USB-C to USB 3.0 adapter. Sorry, Fernando, I think I misplaced mine. Optionally, you can also order the expansion port cable to connect two or more Podmobiles together. On the opposite end of the XLR inputs, there are the power inputs. You can use the USB-C input to plug the Podmobile directly into your phone and power it with your phone and record directly into your phone at the same time. You can also power up to two condenser microphones using just your phone's power. You can also power it using the 5 volt input right here and plugging it into a power bank or a wall outlet. You'll still need to connect it to your device using the USB-C connection or the aux input, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, in the middle here is one of the coolest features of of this device, which is very unique, and that is the expansion port, which allows you to connect up to 3 Podmobile interfaces together at the same time. So you can record 6 XLR microphones at the same time. Next, you have your auxiliary cable in and your auxiliary cable out. The aux out lets you connect your Podmobile to a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera, so you can use an XLR microphone with your camera. The aux in lets you send audio into your recording device. So let's say you want to sing a song. Well, you can send the music into the Podmobile interface and listen to the music while you're recording, and that music will also be recorded at the same time as your voice. Now, in the middle, there are different recording modes, which you can change using a paper clip or a toothpick or something similar. There is the normal recording mode, which records everything in mono, so it's one audio file together. If you're just recording yourself using the Podmobile, normal mode works great. Now, blend mode will make microphone 1 sound a little bit louder on the left side of the listener, and microphone 2 will sound a little bit louder on the right side. Let's say you create ASMR videos. So that will create somewhat of a sound stage. Now the final mode here is split mode. It separates your audio into 2 tracks, which allows you to have a lot of control over the post-processing and editing because it's not all mixed together in one file. Psst. Hey, enough show, John. Time to test. All right, so first things first, we are going to connect the Podmobile to my computer. So what we'll do is connect the USB-C port into the Podmobile and the USB 3.0 into the back of the Mac Mini. Then what we're going to do is go into our DAW and make sure that our inputs are the correct inputs. You'll see that when you pull up your DAW on the input section, you'll find the Podmobile TM as your option there. The same with the output, select the Podmobile TM, and then you are good to go. So the first thing I want to test is how quiet is it when we have our signal in our microphone going at the levels that we want as professional voiceover talent. Our ideal is somewhere between like -12 to -6 as a peak. We don't really want to go much higher than -6 just because we want to give ourselves a lot of headroom after the fact. So here I have the Mogami XLR cable plugged into the second input, and then I have my headphones right here, so I'm monitoring everything. And where I have the gain right now is a little, maybe close to 10 o'clock, just about short of 10 o'clock, I would say. So not turned up very loud at all. Now my microphone is a large diaphragm condenser microphone. It is the CAD-E100S. With all interfaces, if you turn the gain all the way up as max as you can go, you will get some electrical noise. You'll get some hiss in, lower end or mid-range interfaces. You will get that sound. Now you'll notice that when I use my other interface, when I test my other interface, I'll have to turn it up quite a bit more. And that is one of the huge benefits of the Podmobile, is that there is a lot of dB built into it. So it can really power very quiet microphones who need a lot of gain. And that is specifically what I'm talking about, is the Shure SM7B. That's what a lot of streamers use, a lot of podcasters. It's a very, very popular mic. Not a great mic for professional voiceover. So if you're going to use a dynamic mic like the Shure SM7B or a similar mic that just needs a lot of gain, you won't have to buy a cloud lifter or a FET head, any additional thing to boost the gain to make it usable with your current interface. That saves you like 50 to 150 bucks right there. So what we're going to do right now is just test how this sounds when I just get completely silent. We're sitting at -70 dB, which is far below anything we would need for professional voiceover. That is fantastic news. So that kind of noise floor from the interface itself is very usable. So nice job, Fernando. Now let me record one quick line here that I just completely pulled from the top of my head, out of nowhere. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're enjoying this content. I'd really appreciate it. Also, hit the like button. I'd appreciate that too. Thanks so much. All right, now we are testing the CAD-E100 with the Scarlett 2i2 audio interface. Let's test the noise floor in comparison to the Podmobile. Let's get quiet. We're sitting at like -66 dB, which is absolutely workable, which is what I've used for years, and it's been totally fine, but it is not as quiet as the Podmobile. And I want to point out that I have the 2i2, the Scarlett 2i2, cranked up to like almost 3 o'clock on the gain knob. We are almost at max headroom for the Scarlett 2i2, which is a massive point in favor of the Podmobile because we don't have to turn it up very high to get the gain levels that we need. Okay, we are done with the booth test. Sounds great with the computer, but what does it sound like on a phone. Time for the car test. Whew. It is the middle of winter in Minnesota, and it is like 12 degrees outside. But you know what? We're gonna try it anyway. All right, I have it hooked up to the Podmobile, and I have it recording into my phone. And I've got my shotgun microphone here, my AT875R Audio Technica. I have it hooked up here on my USB-C, and I have it hooked up to the Podmobile in here. And literally, it's just my phone powering the Podmobile. That's it. And just in case you don't know, your car's acoustics are actually quite nice. Not perfect, but you can record some auditions in here, which is pretty nice. Okay, big test here. I have both microphones recording at the same time as we speak here. I have the Podmobile here with the XLR cable plugged in here into this shotgun microphone sitting in front of you. It is powered by my cell phone through the USB-C cable into my phone through USB power, and it is connected via expander port to the other Podmobile that I have here. And now I'm talking into the microphone that's connected, the CAD E100S. I also am recording into my camera. So I have it recording into my camera, and it's powered via USB-C right here into a normal USB-C to USB 3.0 into a wall mount. So Ethernet to the other Podmobile Ethernet. I have it auxiliary connected to my camera. One's powered by my phone, and one is powered by just a normal power cable that you would use for your Android device. How does it sound? Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. All right, so what's the verdict? Is this good enough to record professional voiceover? And is it good enough to record on the road and at home? And will it replace my current audio interface? Drum roll, please. I think yes. I really do think yes, at least for the first part. Yes, I think it is good enough to record voiceover at home. I think the noise floor is good. There's not a lot of extra sound. I think it's a clean sound. I don't love that there is a bass and treble on here for professional voiceover recording because we'll never need to use that, but that's a small thing, not a big deal. Now, one other drawback too is the fact that there's no port for studio monitors. Now, I talked to Fernando about this. He doesn't plan on adding it because really his target market is more for the amateur, for, you know, the podcaster, for someone who's having some fun, who just needs an interface. But if he sees a lot of feedback from voiceover talent who like love this thing and they're like,
Fernando, this is great, but we need inputs for speakers.
He may add them into it later down the road. I also really like the build quality. It's solid. You can see the inside of it, which is kind of sexy. It's a little bit sexy, I gotta tell you, Fernando. I mean, you're showing a little leg here, if you know what I mean. I also love the fact that you can use this with your DSLR camera, which is really, really big for someone who wants to be able to record video content. Being able to hook this directly into your phone and record onto your phone is also massive. It's very easy to do, and it works like a charm. Now, let's talk about the price point. How much does this guy cost? Fernando, as we speak, is listing this at $299. That to me is a very fair price point. So if you're interested in one of these, Fernando's contact information is below. Just reach out to him directly and say, Fernando, I want a Podmobile. Let's do this thing. Now, the big question is, will this replace my current interface, the Scarlett 2i2, which I've used for years? I like to get something that works well, stick with it, and not mess with it. Getting me to switch away from the Scarlett might be a challenge, but I may replace the Scarlett 2i2 with this. Not sure yet, still thinking about it, but it might happen. So Fernando, well done. So your tech, your gear, everything, that's all great. It's all fine and dandy. It matters. It's important. But you know what matters more than that? It's your performance, all right? So what I want you to do is watch this next. Giddy up.